You had mentioned that it's important to know an advisor's values. So, what are the core values of Nightingale Wealth Solutions, for instance? And can you share a story that maybe exemplifies those values?
Yeah, absolutely. So, integrity, trust, altruism, accountability, clarity, and family are our top values. I think that clarity is probably one of the most important ones that are out there. And that's again just because the amount of people that don't actually know what's going on in their financial situation is staggering. How many people come in and they sit down? I mean, we just had even the president of a college, and we're just having one of our first meetings. We're like, what is your annual income? And they weren't able to answer. They're like, I'm not exactly sure. I know I get some compensation here. I know I'm getting a little compensation this way, but I'm not actually sure how it works. I don't really know what the total is. And this is a highly educated individual in a very prestigious role. We have a lot of people that don't understand also even just the mental health issues that come along with finance and what's important for them to know about that. There's gambling addictions, and there's even people who end up having abuse of an elder in these different situations too. So it's really important that the first thing we do is we want to make sure we have clarity. We want to make sure that people are understanding that they are trusting their advisor. And again, the reason why that's so important, the average age of a woman is widowed is typically 59 years old. 80% of women die single, which is meaning that, again, men are dying most of the time married. So it's a completely different situation that women are dealing with and facing when it comes to retirement. And I think that's where we see so much of the clarity discussion in our situation coming into light, is when we're dealing with a lot of these recently widowed women and people who've come into our office and they sit down and they're like, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea this is that. I have no idea this is here. Even recently, there was a client, and her husband is cancer. He was a doctor, and she's got 5 children. She was a stay-at-home mom, and he was making $550,000 a year. The only amount that they were able to save over the course of the years of raising the kids and getting them out the door for college was $2 million. And even though he didn't think that insurance was important at the time, he thought that he had enough coverage through his employer. After 120 days, they can relieve the position if they deem it to be critically important, which they did. And he no longer had any of the benefits through work. So he's going to essentially be passing away. He's currently in palliative care for cancer, with have only saved $2 million and no life insurance, 5 children, and the wife who's saying, oh, I think that'll be enough. I think I'll be okay. And we're sitting back and we're like, this is just not the case, and at least to maintain the lifestyle that you've been living. So I think it's really important to have these conversations. And again, that's why Helo is so important, because Helo, when it comes to retirement and just sharing and letting somebody know some basic financial information, which is based on the rate you're saving, based on when you want to retire, based on the state you want to retire, and your current asset allocation, this is how much after taxes you will have to spend a year in retirement. And it's not doing anything overly complex. It still says, consult a financial advisor, but it's going to give them at least a basic distribution to tell them, hey, you're only going to have $67,000 a year. And if you're living in New York City or LA or Boston or most of the places, honestly, in the United States now, you're like, oh my God, that's not enough. I really need to save more, especially if they want to keep living the same lifestyle they are. So that's why it's just so important to have clarity, just to know. And it's this age-old question too. I can't tell you time and time again, the question we get asked the most by pre-retirees is, do I have enough? Am I going to be okay? And the fact that we can go through with somebody, we can walk them through an entire financial plan, and we can show them based on battle testing this against, what if there's a 2008 happened again? What if the Great Depression happened again? What if 9/11 happened again? What if 2022 happened again and the equity and the bond market's down? What if all these situations happened? Are you going to be okay? And I think that's really the best thing that we can have clients leaving with, is the clarity of understanding whether it's good or it's bad news, because sometimes it's not good news. Sometimes we're saying, listen, you got to either save more or make more. And you're not going to be able to continue going at the rate you're going or the burn you're at right now. but at least they're walking out there with actionable steps to take, a number in hand of knowing how much more they need to save, how much less they need to spend, and what the next steps are they need to do to take.